Hi, my name's Chris. I'm a French teacher who wishes to thump his chest, toot his horn and wave his flag and tell the good people of the internet that another world is possible. And it's like that song by Téléphone, Je rêvais d'un autre monde. I was dreaming of another world. So in this other world I'm inviting you into, you can learn French in different conditions, in better conditions, dare I say, especially if your first language is English and especially if you're an adult learner. So today we're going to speak about several things: the letter R in French, why I wouldn't advise learning with a Franco-French teacher, and the difference between a grammarian and a linguist. So a word about myself: if you've never watched any of my videos, I do bilingual teaching, which means I'm as much a native speaker of French as I am of English, and I also teach these two languages professionally, which means I can bridge these two languages together like few French teachers can, probably even in the whole of the United States. Now it seems like a far-fetched statement, but from what I've seen it seems to be true, and why would I hide it? After all, I am putting it at your service, so it might as well be known. I propose we start. Yesterday I was shown a video by a student that perfectly encapsulates all 3 points I wish to make today, and I'm going to severely criticize this video by this Franco-French teacher, and it's going to be dreadful, it's going to be awful. There's going to be blood on the battlefield, and I will descend upon these Franco-French teaching practices with the wrath of a divine punisher. So if you want some gore, if you want to see body parts flying, stick around for the second part of this video. But I'm doing this with a clear heart, with a light heart, because first of all it's okay to punch up, and this channel has over 1 million subscribers, and because people in the comments are delighted with this video and have the genuine impression that they've moved forward in their learning of French in a meaningful way. So I'm not kicking a person that's down, so I think it's all fair game. First, let's cut to the chase and speak about the French R, the letter R, the sound R. Now Franco-French teachers will make a big case of it, precisely because they are Franco-French teachers and they find it very hard to extract themselves from their Frenchness. It's a very real thing. They're usually very normative teachers, and they'll tell you you have to pronounce the R a bit like a ratchet. You know, if you're a football fan from the 70s in England, you know those wooden ratchets that people used, and I have a different type of ratchet here. That's the French R. That's how they'll tell you to say it. I'm a native speaker of French myself, and I've never done that. How interesting. I've never pronounced my R's like a ratchet, and I've never met anyone who pronounced their R's like a ratchet either. Let's take 3 words to illustrate this. Roger, croire, prendre. I'll say these again. Roger, croire, prendre. Roger is obviously Roger, the name of a person. Croire is to believe, and prendre is to take. Roger, croire, prendre. So you would have noticed that I didn't sound like a ratchet in any of the 3 cases, and that's because you don't have to. And if you want to make this sound as I do, here's how it works. If this is the back of your tongue, you know, where it curves and it comes out from the back of your throat. If this is the top of the tongue, just where it curves, you let air through between the top of your tongue and your palate. So you go, that's the first part of it. You just let air through. It's a flow of air, just where it curves, the back of your tongue. That's the first part of it. To say Roger, this is exactly what I'm doing. Roger, Roger. And if you tap it slightly on your palate and interrupt the flow of air, you've done a French R. And that's all you need to know. Roger, prendre, croire. It's a flow of air, you see, that you control with just where your tongue curves, you see, and it's you narrow the flow of air with your palate, and that's it. Now, of course, you can stay longer and you can do a ratchet sound. You can try to do the you can. If you think it will help you, if it makes you happy, you can, of course, but you don't have to. The French sound R is never one that will cause you to be misunderstood. And that's it, so it's really a non-issue. So one very last time, you're letting air through. I hope you can hear it. and I'll say Roger believing and taking one last time. Roger, croire, prendre. You're letting a flow of air, and you can gently tap at the top of your palate with the back of your tongue. Roger, croire, prendre. K, 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 k. And that's all you need to do to pronounce R in a French way. And I mentioned that the letter R was never a case in which you could be misunderstood. It doesn't cause a breakdown in communication, so it really doesn't matter. And the way we do the R, the equivalent of the letter R in French, because of course we share the same graphic symbol, the letter is the same, of course we associate it with two different sounds. It's more lip-based, isn't it? If I say rouge, rouge, in French, rouge, but if I say rouge, I'm involving the lips. Rouge, rouge, you see? But I have a British accent from a certain area, so I say it in a certain way, but Americans will say it in a different way still. Rouge, 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 you know, it's more like a W, okay? But the reason this letter, this sound, the sound that we associate to this letter R isn't important is because the point of communicating in a foreign language is to be able to get your point across and not try to imitate an idealized French norm. And this is what grammarians do. They believe in a norm that we must all stick to, and they enforce it. That's the difference with a linguist. And this is my beef with Franco-French teachers. They've lived in a social aquarium called France, and they find it very, very hard, almost impossible, to extract themselves from this monolingual environment. I'm not saying they're wrong all the time, or that they can't teach at all, but factually, they have no idea what it means to be you, if your native language is English. If you have English as a first language, they cannot know. They know what it's like to be a native speaker of French, of course they do, but they cannot be you. The fellow I'll speak about in a second, the Franco-French teacher, that I'm going to heavily criticize, is a prime example of this. You know, he'll tell you about his reality without knowing yours. So he doesn't know the phonetics of English, neither as a speaker nor as a linguist. So what he's saying is, as a French teacher, as a Franco-French teacher of French from France, he's saying really, this is my French reality, deal with it. And this is what Franco-French teachers do. This is my French reality, deal with it, even if your first language is English. So now, time has finally come to descend upon this popular Franco-French video with the wrath of a divine punisher and explain to you good people of the internet that Plato was right all along. In the cave there shone no light. So here's the video I'll be speaking about, and well, here's the fellow with his blackboard full of examples, and he's a Franco-French teacher, and it's a very popular video, hundreds of thousands of views, people are delighted, and I'm going to be talking about this video, and I'm going to be punching up, I want to say, so let's start.
Today you will learn how to pronunciate the letter R in French like a native speaker.
Yeah, okay, pronunciate, he said. Pronounce the French R like a native. Now, this is very normative. This is what I'm talking about. This is a grammarian. This fellow is a grammarian. So he's very normative, and he believes in a French norm, like the real French native speaker that goes when they speak. I'll bring it out once more because I'm enjoying this. You see, it's this idealized French norm, so he wants you to become like him, essentially, is what he's saying.
This is quite an annoying letter.
Yeah, you see, it's quite an annoying letter. No, it's not, because I just said it was a non-issue. Why is it an annoying letter? Well, it's annoying if you try to make people become French. The thing is, if you have English as a first language, or maybe other languages also, I don't know, it's not my specialty, so I don't know the phonetic system of Vietnamese, I don't know what their difficulties are learning French, but he's calling it an annoying letter because he's making it annoying. He's establishing a problem before it's even happened, you see, and he's making it a problem. He's going to make it even more of a problem because he's ready with his blackboard full of problems.
Or in French, R.
What? That's what he just did, seriously. No one has ever said R like he just did, ever, in the history of France. It does not exist. So I think he's getting lost in his own theory, in his own Franco-French theory. He's forgetting about reality. He's forgetting about, that's what a linguist does, versus a grammarian. That's what I do in my teaching. I sort of weigh the probability of this problem ever occurring. Is it a problem, yes or no? Am I going to lose the students, waste the students' time by enforcing this pointless lesson, this pointless letter, when they could be learning something more meaningful and more useful?
After this lesson, you will be able to pronunciate or like a perfect person.
Okay, like a perfect person versus an imperfect person. Yeah, this notion of perfection, this French perfection, but communication is not about perfection. He's losing sight of the goal. We're not aiming at perfection. Why would anyone ever try to reach this idealized French perfection? I'll tell you honestly, you will never manage to do it. I've seen university professors who teach English, who dedicated their lives to teach English. They still didn't sound like a native speaker of English, or be it American or British. So you think this fella's going to do it for you? No. I'm talking about professors who've written books about linguistics, about literature. They still can't sound like the genuine article. But he claims he can do it. It's brilliant. But my real beef is with this norm. It's not necessary.
And you will not face this embarrassing situation where you try to say a word in French with or, but you are not understand.
Yeah, right, okay. First of all, you will face an embarrassing situation because you are not understand, yeah, you are not understood. First of all, it will not cause a breakup in communication any way you pronounce R. It's a non-issue. And second, people are not going to mock you. You will not be embarrassed. That's speaking like a person who believes in a norm, a grammarian who thinks this is the way things should be, and if you don't respect the norm, you'll look silly because you're not up to standards. But no.
You're not understood because you mispronounced the R.
No, it's not true. You will never be misunderstood for not pronouncing the R as he's going to do in his own fabricated way.
So with this, you will be able to understand how to say or. French or is really different from the English or.
Yeah, okay, I'm assuming he's speaking about English, the name of the language, because, I don't say R like my American wife and Irish people, Scottish people, there's different ways of saying R. If I say Roger, it ends in an A. You see, so an American would rather say a Roger so there's not even one R for the whole English language, but anyway.
And this is a sound that doesn't exist in English.
Yeah, it doesn't exist in French either. Can we hear what he just did? I don't even know how he does it.
So this is a new consonant that you need to learn when
you don't need to learn it.
When you start learning English. This
What?
is a bit like in the word eradicate.
What does it even mean? This is a bit like in the word eradicate. What is a bit like in the word eradicate? R is a bit. That's the sentence he just made. I know I'm splitting hairs here, but I'm getting really annoyed already. R is a bit like the word eradicate. That's what he just said.
In English, eradicate, eradicate,
Your point being, mec, tu dis quoi là? Ça veut dire quoi ton truc là? On en vient à quoi? On essaye d'illustrer quoi ici? R est un peu comme éradiquer, je vois pas, vraiment je vois pas.
So this is the same idea, except that the or is more from the throat.
What is more from the throat?
So this is the big difference. We need to use our throat.
This is the big difference. We need to use our throat versus not using our throat when we speak. What?
To make this sound happen. So here are some tips for you to pronunciate that word, that letter. So this is vibrations coming from your throat and chest, or is not something from like just your throat, like.
So the sound comes from the throat and chest, but then he goes on to say that the R does not come from the throat, so it comes from somewhere else. I think he's slowly realizing that he's ad-libbing this explanation. He doesn't quite know where he's going with this. So now I think he's slowly realizing that he's going to try to look for a way out of this, because he doesn't quite know. Where does the letter R come from exactly? What are the muscles involved in this sound?
In English, R, something like from your throat. It's
Well, he doesn't know really. It's like something from your throat. So he sort of, the French R comes from the throat, but it's like there's a joke in French, le bon chasseur et le mauvais chasseur, il tire, voilà, c'est un bon chasseur, quoi. If you've heard of Les Inconnus, it's a reference, but it's the same sort of thing. Ouais, mais il tire, mais c'est un bon chasseur, quoi. Bah, il tire, voilà, bon, bah, il y a des gens qui tirent, c'est des mauvais chasseurs, mais là, c'est un bon chasseur. And what this one's here, this fella's doing is, the French R comes from the throat, but, the English R also, but it's a different throat, it's not the same throat, I think is what he's saying.
It's more something like vibrating. You need to make your throat vibrate.
You need to make your throat vibrate. Okay, thanks for the tip. Dear me.
Like you put what? But it's more something and chest. Or is not something from like just your throat, like in English, R, something like from your throat. It's more something like vibrating. You need to make your throat vibrate. This is something like that. Like when you do some gargling, like you put water in your mouth and you do. This is the sound that you need to use.
No, it's not true. He's hilarious. This fellow's hilarious. He has no clue what he's talking about. He really does not know what he's talking about. He's completely lost in a Franco-French theoretical wonder world. You need to gargle when you speak French.
Try to make this sound. This is a good training for you.
It's almost like he fell upon this idea. You know what? I'm going to tell people to gargle. That seems like the right way of doing things. Let's try to do.
You can even try with water if you want, but you can do it without. So try to understand.
You can't make this up, can you? This fella's hilarious. I love him.
That you throat is vibrating when you do this song.
And it's also, you can tell he has no basis in linguistics, because in linguistics there's some very precise terms that relate to the type of letter you're making, whether it's a plosive or whatever. He doesn't quite know, right? He's trying to explain instinctively.
And in French, when you do angriness, like an angry dog, or when someone in a comic is angry, usually we use these letters. I guess we can also use that in English, and the pronunciation is like grr, grr.
But your point being what? Your point being what? Grr, grr. Well, where are you going with this, mate? What are you saying? What are you telling people to do? What is the point behind grr? De quoi on parle ici? Tu vas où avec ça? Vraiment, tu vas où avec ça, avec ton grr? Ça sert à quoi? Il y a une réflexion derrière, ou c'est juste attirer ça de ton oreille?
So we need to make this sound again, the vibration of the throat.
No.
Like, this is the sound that a dog would make.
Your point being what? This is a sound that a dog would make. Grrr. What? What? Where are we going with this?
If he needs to show his angriness.
Oh, I need to show my angriness. I love the phrasing. You know, if he needs to show his angriness, then he'll say grrr, grrr. Okay. It's like a 6-year-old. He's in a, I don't know, sort of a dream world. It must be beautiful to live there.
So this is grrr. And as you can see here, the sound G, the letter G is quite interesting to make this sound
What?
happen.
Wait, The letter G is interesting to make the sound happen. What does it even mean in French or in English? La lettre G est intéressante pour faire se passer pour la lettre R. Enfin, le son R, ça veut dire quoi? La lettre G est intéressante pour la création du son R. Enfin, ça veut dire quoi? The letter G is interesting to make R happen or something. Well, interesting how? In your world it seems very interesting. Everything seems interesting in this fellow's world.
This is the kind of the continuation of the sound G. So if you
Wait.
try to say G, G, G.
R is the continuation of G. That's what he's telling us. This is like the continuation of the... So what are you talking about, mate?
You start to feel that your mouth, your throat is vibrating. G, G, G. If you try to exaggerate, to force this sound, G, 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 you can make this sound happen, like the R. G.
If you try to exaggerate this sound, you can make this sound happen, the R, and then he's going go, 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 go. But what are you doing? This video has hundreds of thousands of likes. It's scary. It's really scary. French is in a bad way. We need to sort this. It's scary. People are watching this and saying, well, this is brilliant. This guy's figured something out. Yeah, we know. Grr, grr. Where are you going with this, mate?
This is like a kind of continuation of G. Grr, grr.
This is kind of a continuation. He's going grr, grr, grr. He doesn't quite know what he's on about, but this is kind of a continuation of G. Grr, grr, grr. Yeah. What isn't a continuation of the letter that's just before? I mean, what is your point? How is this helpful? What is the larger picture? I don't think he knows what the larger picture of this lesson is.
So you can, if you try to do that, you can have this sound happen in your mouth.
If you try to do that, you can have this sound happen in your mouth. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So here are 4 tips. Like
those were tips, were they? So these were actually tips.
Vibrations. This you need to make your throat vibrate. Then this is a bit like goggling, or when you're angry, or.
But what does it mean? It's a tip. It's like more you're angry. What does it mean? How does this translate to planet Earth? How? Where? I don't understand it.
The kind of continuation of the sound of the letter G, 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 G. So try to say that, to say G, or doing all those exercises in front of your computer. This is a good training. And here are some words. And you can try with these words. So I'm going to just pick one first.
It's almost like the death of rationality. It's like the death of rational thinking. It's quite crazy to witness. I don't know if it's scary, funny, or sad, or all 3 at once, but it's like the requiem for... It's a requiem for rational thinking. That's really what it is. I don't know if this guy does this part-time, or he was just asked to step in front of this blackboard and say, well, you know, try to use the words here we wrote and try to make something out of it, because it's just on another level of absurdity of... It challenges rational thinking to a degree that I never suspected was even possible.
So try to say that, or doing all those exercises in front of your computer. This is a good training. And here are some words. And you can try with these words. So I'm going to just pick one first. Raté.
Now, he forgot his own thing. So he said it instinctively, as he would in French, and he said raté, as I said in the beginning of my video, and then he realised, I think he's going to slowly realise, damn, this is not at all in tune with what I'm telling people to do, because he just said raté, and he said it instinctively without thinking about it. Then he's going to self-correct, and he's going to say, okay, I've just been telling these people to do something else than what I do, so now he's going to start to say, oh no, what I really mean is you have to say raté.
Raté, raté, raté.
He said he did it in the normal way, but then he did it in this absurd way that he's trying to teach.
It's like to fail. Raté. 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 You can...
Yeah, he's insisting. Raté, raté.
You try to pronunciate that. Raté. Raté. To fail. Je rate. I fail. Raté.
Yeah, you're certainly doing that. Raté, je rate. No, 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 no.
Raté. So try, it's okay if you exaggerate.
No.
This is the first way to get used to the sound. Like, it's always exaggeration at first, and then...
What is this? It's a principle. So when you speak French, when you learn French, you really have to exaggerate, but then, you know, you can tone it down and it's all right. He just made that up. He's really making it up as he's going along. Yeah, you always have to exaggerate first and then you can... So he doesn't even know why he said that. Seriously, that's what we're talking about. He has no idea why he just said that. The words just seem... It's like Carl Pilkington said that one time, you know. When I speak, ideas just come out of my mouth. I don't know where they come from. This is what this fellow's doing.
Your throat, and you will be used to making this sound. So this is good. And here, let's take another example. The example of big. In French, it's grand, grand.
Grand.
So here you can see GR. That's why I'm taking this sound, because...
Here you can see GR. Well, yes, it's sort of the letters that were assembled to make up the word. Your point being?
France. In English, in French. FR. France. France.
Mais arrête de faire ça,
France.
mon vieux, arrête de faire ça. Ça fait mal aux oreilles.
France.
Ouais, ça va, ça
This
fait
is
mal
the
aux
sound that
oreilles.
we need to remember.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Then G, we've seen that before. Gr, gr, grand, grand. The next one, ready. When you're ready, prêt, you say prêt in French. Prêt, prêt. P-R. Prêt,
Oh
prêt,
God, stop doing
prêt.
that. It's awful.
Vibrations. And then true, like vrai, vrai in French. Vrai, vrai. V, v. This is also the sound that we use in comics for the noise made by car. Like a car that is, a car is usually making this sound in French. I guess it's the same in English.
Yeah, well, you can't distinguish between the present simple and the present continuous. A car is usually making this sound. I mean, he has no notion of English, neither phonetic nor linguistic. I mean, that's just the first lesson of English. Present simple, present continuous, the guy doesn't know. And he's teaching you French, and he's trying to use English, and it's all very sad, and it's just complete random bits of trivia, like dogs go grrr, cars go vrrr, and it's supposed to help you. He doesn't know what he's on about. It's, I don't know, it's just surreal. To me, it's surreal. It's beyond reality. It's beyond ration. It's beyond intelligent thinking. It's beyond anything known to a thinking mind, and it's absolutely very scary and very sad at the same time. It's just dreadful.
Otherwise, you will never remember your throat. Your mouth will never remember the sound.
Your mouth will never remember the sound. God, my mouth's forgotten the sound again. It's like you dial someone's phone number. So my finger's forgotten the number again. I love this guy. I hope there's many more of this type of people. I love this. I love this fellow. Oh dear, my hand's forgotten your name again. I can't. How do you spell your name again? My finger's forgotten the number. Your mouth's forgotten the sound. This guy doesn't need to take LSD. He doesn't need to take mushrooms. I love it.
Here are some maybe easier sounds with vowels.
I'm crying. Oh God, yeah, and that was the end of it, because I don't want... It's quite a long video, but seriously, well, that's my beef with Franco-French teachers. They're so much into their French aquarium, they find it very hard to extract themselves from their Frenchness, and they think as grammarians, and there's a norm, and you have to sound like me, because they imagine that all French speakers speak the same way, and it's not at all a linguistic type of teaching or of thinking, and the bottom line is, well, R is not important in French. It's never an issue. You'll never not be understood because of your R. Second, we're not imitating a French norm, because it doesn't really matter, and you'll still make contacts in France. If you ever go to live in France, you'll still make friends. It won't be an obstacle to being understood. And everyone has an accent. I have an accent. Everyone does. There's no ideal norm that we all have to reach. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. It's a bit of a long video, but I hope it was useful. Don't worry about the letter R. It's a non-issue, and I don't know, book with a Franco-French teacher if you will. They're not wrong all the time, but there is a certain element of risk. I'm not saying they're incompetent, but they don't know what it's like to be you. They cannot know, and they just teach you according to their reality. This is my reality. One-sided transfer of information. Deal with it. I'm French. This is how we do things in France. I was born in a monolingual aquarium called France. Monolingual with a vengeance. And that's what it leads to. I want to thank this fellow. He was a good laugh. So fair play to him. Thank you very much. Merci à toi. Tu m'as bien fait rire. Et bravo pour tout. Merci beaucoup. I'm Chris from We Communicate. See you soon.